Hello. Hi, Donna.
Hi.
How are
I'm sorry I
you?
read it late. I'm
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's only, no, I was actually the one late. I'm usually on time. I was 2 minutes late coming on, so it's fine.
word. Well, I'm a drive home and I'm a beat, but I can talk right now. Hey y'all.
Yes, we loving it. Multitasking. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. So how are you this Sunday? Self-care Sunday.
This self care Sunday, I'm about to get some extra self care in real quick in form of
Okay.
dinner. I like my self care to come by way of food. I don't know what other people like,
Mm.
but I like food self care.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, so I'm just really excited to talk to you because I see that you're a woman of many hats. You're an author, you're a speaker, and you're a sex therapist. I definitely want to know all about that, please. So, tell the audience about yourself.
I am Dr.Donna Oriowo. I'm a sex and relationship therapist. My focus is on how colorism and texturism impact mental and sexual health. Um, I love what I do. I mean, more than anything, I love what I do, and I think that that is one of the biggest things that sort of feeds into my self care.
Mm, okay, okay. How did you get started in like that industry, like sex therapy and things like that?
It's an interesting industry.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
But I'm lucky because more than anything, I get to help people to recenter pleasure as one of the main focuses of their life. And
Hmm.
that is one of the most profound ways, I think, to sort of build in a self care practice and to do one that sort of adds into this idea of how we care for ourselves, when we care for ourselves, and how. I think that
Mm.
sometimes in our quest for liberation, we forget about pleasure and we forget
Yes.
that pleasure and self care are like this. They are so super closely entwined that if you're not doing things that bring you pleasure in whatever way, I'm not just sexual pleasure, but that I don't know what you're doing really is ends up being like sort of my question. Like what are you doing if you're not feeding into your own pleasure, into the things that bring you some modicum of joy and
Joy, right.
and bring you almost like a lust for life. Um,
I
yeah,
like how you said that. Yeah.
that's also why my one of my self care practices is so much about food because where you offer yourself pleasure in one place of your life, you tend to also build in more pleasure practices. And in our culture, which is obsessed with body size, and
Yep.
specifically being small with a big ass, right? So like, you got to be small, small, skinty, and everything, because we are an anti-fat sort of
Society. Yeah.
yeah society that to enjoy food or rather the restriction of food is usually one of the first ways that we are taught an accepted restriction of pleasure.
Mm. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, I agree with you. Like the standards, especially for women, it's always standards that's placed on us. And then it gets deeper when it's women of color like me and you. Yeah, these big butts, small waists, like it and it's unnatural.
Proportions that don't make
So
no sense
it don't make no sense at all. It really don't.
because you gotta have
Yeah.
zero stomach,
Flat,
big
flat,
ass.
big butt. Yeah, like if you have that shape naturally, okay, but just no one has that shape naturally 9 times out of 10. So these standards are just very unhealthy for women.
Yeah, I mean, it leads to, and I don't personally have a problem with like body modification or anything like that. I believe that you do
Hmm.
the thing for yourself and your body that makes you happy.
Makes you happy,
But
right?
I'm also in the space of follow the money trail. You feel like shit. Who made you feel that way? Who's cashing
Yeah.
in off your continued feeling this way?
Yep. Yep. Wow. Wow. So I'm just going to get straight into the questions, Donna. I'm really
I'm ready.
excited. I'm so excited to hear your answers. Now, first question, how do you find the time to hit pause on life and tend to yourself?
I build it into my schedule. That is how I
Okay.
do it. I know that some people try to, like, funnily enough, like sex, people want it to be spontaneous. Like, I spontaneously gave myself what I needed as opposed to I purposefully made a plan to make this thing happen. So, one thing that my friend, Dr. Jetta, taught me was to, like, toward the end of the year, usually, though you can do it at any point, I sit down with a calendar and I plan, when do you want to be off? You ain't got to go nowhere,
What?
but you're going to be off.
You pre-plan it like that?
Oh, I
Wow.
pre-planned it like that. Like,
Serious.
I was off in April. I know that I had some time coming up as being off in July, and
Mm.
I know I have 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks coming up in December that will lead me from when I want my business to also be closed because I want my therapist to practice self-care.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
So I'm looking like we off from what is that? Christmas Eve to the New
New
Year.
Year's.
Yup.
Wow. And I love that because I love how like corporations and companies are having like mental health days. So just this talk of setting aside yourself if you're not feeling your best self, even in the workplace, I find that this conversation is getting more serious and things are happening, to help people out in this space, mental health space. So that's good that you like literally set time in your schedule because a lot of people just simultaneously, like you said, like do do things that they need rest. But I'm sure you have a busy schedule too, so I'm sure a person like you need to do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be moments where I'm listening to my body and I might end my workday early. So I'll tell my assistant like, hey, I need you to cancel the rest of my day because something is going on with me and I'm not going to bring my best self to my clients, and they
Mm,
deserve my best self. That's what they,
mm, right.
Now, I'm not saying that that's what they pay for, but that's what they pay for.
Pretty much,
Um,
yeah.
and I want to make sure that I am, and for me, it's about ethical practice. Am I being ethical if I'm not bringing my best self, the best self that I can
Mm,
possibly bring? And
yep.
yes, that best self is going to have levels, but when I know that I'm on level 0, that means I don't have very much to give you. It's time for me to reschedule.
Right.
So it doesn't happen often because of also how I decided to build my schedule. My therapy
Mm,
day used to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm trying to limit myself in the number of clients I'm seeing in a week, but I also realize that because I have so many things that I'm really wanting to do now, that requires an adjustment. I'm not going to add in more time. It means that something gets subtracted. So what I subtracted was doing therapy on Tuesdays, so I can have more time to do the other pursuits that I want to do without adding more hours to my schedule.
right. Exactly. More time to put energy and time into creative projects that you want to do. Right. Essentially, you
Yeah,
are going to have to like work less for more time for yourself, for more time to work on your creative projects. So I'm all
absolutely.
for it. You can't be everything to everyone. You need some time for yourself and what you want to pursue. So,
Exactly.
ooh, great
And I
answer.
know that, like, when you have like a 9 to 5, it's harder to do some of that stuff. But you
It
can
is.
certainly begin planning out, like, okay, do I need to ask? When I had the 9 to 5, I know I needed a day for me. So I talked to them. I was like, look, I need Wednesdays off. I was
Right.
like, I'll work
Oh,
longer days on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, because I'm looking like, come on now, on Friday, nobody was really doing no work. So I
no.
said, let me take full advantage of the fact that I know that these people ain't doing no real work on Friday, and I'm gonna be there on Friday. But let me
Right.
take. Please don't let no be getting here. But I took Wednesday off because Wednesday was dead smack in the middle of the week.
Mm,
Um, it meant that I got to get the things that I needed.
to get
So
done. Right.
yeah. So for me at that time, I had the full-time job, a part-time job, and I was a
Ooh,
full-time student.
wow.
Yeah, I was on team doing way too much. But,
Ambitious. I mean,
yeah.
that's how it is. Yeah.
But when you know the rhythms and the flow of your workplace, I mean, maybe this is not fair because your employer is paying you, but that first hour at work did not belong to them. It belonged to me. I'm like, you pay me to take care of myself so I can do this job, and that's what
Yeah.
it's going to be right now. So I spent the first hour decompressing, sometimes doing some schoolwork stuff that I needed to get done, but otherwise I needed to take care of me first because I wasn't going to be able to bring my best self to do this job if I
Do
wasn't
the
taking care of
job.
me.
Exactly. You won't be able to pour into other things if you're not pouring into yourself. And you're very brave. When I worked the 9 to 5, yeah, Friday, your headspace is the weekend. I really don't feel like doing work before I started my business. But you like literally went up to your employer, was like, Wednesday, I need a day off. Like, you were
Well,
brave.
yeah, I was just like, well, I would like the alternative work schedule, and this is before COVID. And
You're right.
I think that COVID gives you a leg up that I didn't have back then, right? Like to be able to go to them and be like, look, there was a 40% increase in productivity in being home. And actually, people are more productive working from home. These businesses just want you back in the office because they pay for an office
Right.
or because they want to micromanage the people that they're not sure are working. But I'm just like, well, if you know that you're doing your job and they know that you're doing your job well, I see no reason for you to have to
To
return back into the
be in the
office at all.
office.
I think that
Exactly.
this is the time and you have the leverage to advocate for alternative work schedules, work from home schedules. Like even if you can only negotiate like a 3-2, like 3 days in, 2 days off, or
Okay.
2 days out. I'm looking like get your coworkers together and negotiate for it. Ask
Right.
for it. And if they say no, then you know that that's not the job that you need to be sticking with any damn way.
Right. And it's easier to do that now, as you said, after COVID, because this hybrid work schedule, a lot of people are working remote now. It's easier to negotiate something like that than before COVID. Like working hybrid, working remote wasn't really talked about like it is now. So that's a good point that you bring up. Really.
Absolutely. So I'm just like, go for it. Go balls to the wall. If there's anything that I love about like Gen Z, it's that oh I ain't doing that. It's the
Mm-hmm.
boundaries. It's the nah I'm good. It's
Yep.
all of that energy, and I think that we need to make sure that we're continuing to sort of bring that energy of what is basically it amounts to boundaries in the workplace and not
Boundaries,
being
right.
treated like machines.
Mm, right, right. Yeah, I value. I'm a millennial. I'm on the younger side of millennial, but I do.
Millennial, me
You a
too.
millennial? But I really do value that if they want to quit their job, they're going to quit their job if it's not fulfilling. If they're going to take 2 days PTO when they just started like a week ago, they're going to do it. So I agree with you on that. I admire them for that. Now, second question, what does wellness mean to you?
Ooh. Wellness means mind, body, spirit.
I thought you
That
was gonna say soul. You said spirit.
yes,
Okay.
that these things they're in alignment as much as possible, and that all is well. That you
Hmm.
feel that in your because oh gosh, just ooh, I love that question.
Take your time. I can't wait
But
to hear what you have to say. Yeah.
I
Mind,
think
body,
that
spirit. Interesting.
yeah, I think that sometimes when we think wellness, we often hear it in the terms of physical wellness, and we forget about the role that our mental and our spiritual can play in that.
Hmm.
I think that sometimes we may hear it spiritual wellness, and then people are not wanting to pay any attention to the body and the mind at all. And then for mental health practitioners like myself, we think mental wellness, but
Right.
um, the ones who I feel like most like me, we're like, okay, what about your spiritual practice is in alignment? What about your body is also in alignment? I don't leave any of these things on the table. Right? So when myself
Hmm.
or my therapist, when we do an intake with somebody, we're asking about your spiritual practices, if there are any. If you don't have none, that's
Hmm.
cool too.
Hmm.
We're not forcing no agenda or anything like that, but we want to make sure that we have a full view of what's going on with you biologically, psychologically, mentally,
mentally.
emotionally, sexually. We want all that information because wellness is when more than half of these things, I would say, really all of them, are in some level of alignment or moving toward alignment.
And then it encompasses all of those things too, and includes all those
Absolutely.
things. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's interesting that you ask for their like spiritual wellness because that's different from like religion, right? Like it's different.
Yeah.
Because
Now,
some
I
people
might
might
ask
say
if
it's
there's
the
a
same.
religious practice.
Mm,
Like, I might ask if there's a religious practice, but what I have found is that more and more people are moving away from religion and moving more into spirituality. So I'm
spirituality.
going with them. I'm going with them because I'm like, you know what? Your religious experiences may have been traumatizing, but that doesn't mean you don't have a spiritual practice.
Right, right.
So I like to make room for both. If I'm asking about the spiritual and they move to religion, then I allow them to move there while maybe sometimes I bring them back and I'm just like, okay, do you have any spiritual practices outside of your, your religious practices?
Religion, right,
Yeah.
right. Because it is separate. That's right. Now, what are your favorite ways to self-care?
Ooh. Okay. 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 Oh my gosh. Okay, so one, I really love to read.
Okay.
Um, Reading is probably like my number one sort of self care practice. I adore books. So most of the books that I like to read when I'm mostly just looking for enjoyment are like fantasy fiction, that type of stuff.
Okay.
Usually, as many as I can get, especially from Black authors. Though some of my favorite authors
Mm,
in that genre are not always Black.
right.
Um,
I mean, that's,
but
you know,
yeah, reading is one. A second way is, well, food. Come on now,
right. I was waiting for that answer.
food. I love pasta, and
So you
I
probably like
I have a
Italian
thing
food.
for hash browns now. I don't know where it came
Hash
from, but
browns.
me and hash browns, we got like this. We got this little love affair going on. Um, I love ice cream.
Oh,
Specifically
ice cream,
pralines
yeah.
and cream.
Ooh, what from Haagen-Dazs? Which like brand?
Um, from Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins. Okay.
Yeah. I'm a cheesecake girl. I just
You should try
honestly,
Talenti. Talenti has a that flavor too. Talenti ice cream.
I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to do that
Yeah.
because sometimes, Baskin Robbins, I get there and they play me and they ain't got none. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a little pricey too, but Haagen-Dazs and Talenti, best
Yes.
brands. Ben and Jerry's is good too. Yeah. All ice cream's good.
So I mean, there's reading, there's food. I like to take naps. Um,
Yes, me too.
Prayer is
Mm.
also a good one for me. Masturbation is a really great one. Um,
Whoa.
yes. Or sex, depending.
That is, I can see how that's taking care of yourself. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you're
Yeah.
stressed out, if you masturbate, it actually can reduce the stress hormones and stuff in your body. There are many benefits to masturbation that people just don't know about. They don't, and because there's so much stigma still in some ways attached, people are not exploring that part of their sexuality and thinking of it in
Mm,
terms of self care. They're mostly just
mm.
thinking of it in terms of, "Ooh, I'm trying to get nasty," and I'm just like, I think of it as a mental health care practice. So,
Yeah.
and
And
if
I
you
think
want to
people
do,
think it's just for single women. It's not, right?
no,
Right.
I'm
Like,
married.
yeah,
I'm
see right
married, and I got
there.
a whole practice because I'm like, well, everything is not about my husband. Some of the stuff
Right.
is just for me, and some of it is just about me. And I'm like, he
Exactly.
got to eat too, but self care with food is my thing. That may not be his thing, you
Right.
know. So,
It's
I mean,
different. Yeah.
exactly.
For everyone.
So, doing the things that make the most sense for me. Sometimes in my business, self care looks like I like creating workbooks. So
Mm,
sometimes that's what it is. Like, well,
right.
today I'm going to create a workbook, and that's what I'm going to do for my self care.
That's interesting. Reading, though. That's the first time I'm hearing that answer, that reading is one of your things to self-care and relax and one of your favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Uh,
And because of the stress of like COVID and the lockdowns and all that, like for a little bit, I got away from my self care practices and I had to, because I was now home all the time, I had to rebuild it in to make it make sense
mm,
for the life that I was living now.
I
So
see.
I start every day, Monday through Friday specifically, reading. So, like, I'll start off,
Mm,
it's like 20 pages in the morning, and if you feel like reading more later, you can read more later, but you're going to start with 20 pages just to make sure that I'm building it into my everyday, because I think that a lot of our self-care practices end up being reactive instead of proactive, and I'm moving
right.
into proactive spaces. It's what can I do to take care of myself moving forward, not what do I need to do on the back end because some things that, the shit hit the fan, and now I'm trying to fix something. I
Now
want to
I'm
make
trying to
sure
catch
that
up. You're right.
exactly. I don't want to play catch up. I want to be ahead already. So that's how I pour into myself so that, as my friend said earlier today, I give from my overflow. I don't want to drain myself to give to others. I want to be giving freely from my overflow because I've taken
Mm,
such good care of myself.
myself first. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Great answer. Now, how do you personally cope with stress?
Not well sometimes.
We can all
It's
agree
one
to
of
that, I think.
Yeah, I think that the way some things get a bad rap when we're talking about how we deal with stress, and there's some things that I'm just like, man, go on and do it. So I've told clients to scream, to cry, to throw things, but preferably throw things that are not breakable or won't destroy your space. But sometimes you feel that need to get that to have that bodily movement associated with it. So I
Right.
mean, you should have seen me earlier. I was struggling to figure out what I was going to wear, and because clothes don't fit the same. I got this COVID body. So I knew I needed to throw something, and I threw a water bottle. I just
Hmm.
flicked it a little bit, and it helped bring me down enough that I was able to think more clearly about what I needed to do next.
Right.
I also keep a coping skills list on my phone,
Hmm.
and
Describe that. Describe that.
so I have
Coping
an iPhone,
skill.
and it has like the reminders thing. So I have a reminder space that is just called coping skills. So it's all the things that I know help to bring me back to a sense of homeostasis. So it includes things like journaling, taking a nap, taking a
Right.
walk, going for a
Hmm.
drive,
I see.
masturbating, whatever it is that I might need in that moment to bring myself back to a sense of homeostasis. So it ends up being sort of the map for how I deal with stress when it comes up.
Hmm.
So it's usually about like, okay, I'm gonna try this one. Did it bring me down? Did it bring me down enough that I can use some of my calmer sort of methods for dealing with stuff? Like I like meditation as well, but if I'm up here, meditation is not going to work. I need
Right.
something to help bring me down a little
Bring you
bit
down.
so I can get to the meditation level so
And then for
that
it to work.
meditation will work.
Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly. So the way I manage stress is number one, I try to be proactive. Again, I look at my schedule for the week, I look at my schedule for the day, and I note, okay, what can you do to be proactive about taking care of yourself?
Hmm.
Make sure that I read in the morning. Make sure that the one thing that I really want to do is at the top of my list, not at the bottom. It's where I start, not where I finish.
Hmm.
Because when
Right.
you running out of steam in your day, that's not going to work.
At all.
Yeah, I mean, I also make sure I take my lunch. And when I take a lunch break, it is not a working lunch. It's not
Hmm.
somebody could talk to my or talk my ear off while I'm eating. It's no, no, no. Just eating. Just coming back to me,
Me
indulging in the
time.
thing that brings me pleasure, right? Because
Right.
food is part of my pleasure map. So it's part of how I sort of deal with stress because you need those breaks in your day.
Right.
Sometimes I do
Without
5 minute
interruption.
meditation. Yep.
Mm.
Like I'll do a
Wow.
5 minute meditation between clients to sort of reset myself.
Okay.
Um, or sometimes I introduce smells that help to bring down what feels like, oh, I'm like, today's gonna be a stressful day, like, oh, I'm full of clients and I have meetings, then I might be
Mm,
like, okay, I'm gonna light this chamomile and lavender candle, or I'm gonna
mm,
light this incense stick, and I'm gonna make sure that I move through my day with intention, to do
mm.
it on purpose instead of by accident, almost like you tumbling through your day. I'm looking like, no, I want to move through my day, and I want to move intentionally, and it helps me to better manage stress. That doesn't mean that I don't get moments where I'm completely overwhelmed and need to
We
bring
all
myself back
do.
down,
We all
but
do.
it means that I'm trying to be more thoughtful about what that day is and what it looks like.
Mm. And might I make a suggestion? Also, eucalyptus is very calming scent.
Woo, yes. I got
Yes.
eucalyptus hand wash. It really
Ooh.
helps. I'm looking like, girl, go wash your hands. You stressed.
Because I feel like lavender is overrated. Like people don't talk about eucalyptus. And what other scent is calming?
I
Well,
like
eucalyptus is number
spearmint,
one for me. Oh, that's a good
eucalyptus,
one.
spearmint. I like rosemary.
Rosemary. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and incorporating smells. That's very interesting.
Yeah. I
Um,
like to take the five senses into account. So
right.
sometimes it's just
Perfectly
like, is
said.
there a picture that helps bring me a sense of calm, or it can be
Calms
a
you.
focal focus? So I have one of those like as a desktop background on my computer. So if I'm
Mm,
feeling a little overwhelmed, I just close all the windows or minimize all the windows so I can just look at the picture and
right.
sort of give myself a moment to reset.
Mm.
Smells, we already talked about. I like to eat. That's the taste. Sometimes I'll listen to music as I have a calm down
Yes.
baby girl music playlist. So I might listen to a few songs from that, and that help bring me down. If I'm
Mm.
angry, I'll listen to the angry music list, but I have to listen to it in order because it meets me where I am, and then comes down.
Right. Mm.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Now, are you vocal about your needs enough?
Oh yeah. Gotta be. Um, Being silent doesn't get you what you need.
Don't get you
And I
anywhere.
think that too many of us are scared to be the people that they say are high maintenance, or, oh, they asking for too much. And I'm just like, you know what? What you're asking for is not too much. You might just be asking the wrong person. So my advice is
Right.
always ask someone the fuck else. You're not asking for too much. You're asking the wrong
Wrong
person.
person. Ask
Ask
someone else.
somebody else.
Yeah.
If I say I need a hug and hugs is not what someone does, that's okay. It's not an affront to me that they have set a boundary for themselves. It means I ask somebody else.
Hmm. And also, people's like love languages are different. Like some people are not touchy-feely like that. Their thing
Exactly.
might be words of affirmation. But I get what you're saying though. Like, if you feel what you're not getting is coming out from this person, another person would be willing to do it, especially like in relationships.
Yeah, I think that we
So,
put too much emphasis on romantic partners to give us everything that we need, and that's not
no,
realistic.
and
They
it's
are
not
one person.
healthy. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
looking like, ask your friend, ask a family member.
right.
See if they can pour something into you as well as
Mm,
what that complements the things that you already get from your romantic partner. Ask a friend. If a friend is unable to do something or doesn't want to do something, ask someone else.
somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, like I really wanted to go for a walk yesterday. Ask my husband. He don't want to go. He don't want to go. So I asked my mama. She wanted to go. So we went for a
Mm,
walk. There's no resentment
that's
because someone
nice.
told me no. There's joy because someone told me yes.
Right. Wow. Nicely said. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that you said everything. You said everything. Your needs are very important, and you have to make that known because no one's a mind reader, you know? No one's a mind reader. So
Not at all.
now, with the new year here, are there any positive changes that you want to make in your life?
Yeah, there's several positive changes I want to make in my life.
Tell them, tell them.
Um, Sometimes, like I've allowed my schedule to get away from me. So one thing that I've been working on is reinforcing my boundaries. Um,
Okay.
Sometimes, someone gets to talking to you and they don't want to let you go, and you just sort of hang out with them, and it's going to create more stress in your day. I'm learning just to be like, bye.
Mm.
I told you I only had till this much time. You eking up on it. Like I try to remind people 5 minutes before, and then be like, all right, I'm out. I'm
Mm.
cutting it. And I'm getting better at just cutting it and just being able to say, I actually have to go. Goodbye. Like I'll
Right.
talk to you later. Goodbye.
And it helps them
Um,
out too, because if you're not resonating with them, you don't really connect with them at that moment, it's going to take away from them too. So
exactly.
getting up and
Unless like
leaving,
you
yeah.
don't want my distracted self who's looking at the clock every 2 minutes, like, okay, when is this done? You want the
Right, exactly.
person. You want me to be there and to be fully present, and I want to be there and fully present, which requires a certain level of thoughtfulness. Um,
And
Another thing that
emotional intelligence too. That,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Another thing that I'm trying to improve in my life is I'm being anticipatory of change. I told you that I try to be proactive just in general, but I've never been this proactive about so much.
Mm.
I'm being proactive of my desire to write this book that I'm writing. I am being proactive of the fact that my partner has now returned to the workplace and what it
Okay.
means now for our household where it comes to things like grocery shopping and cooking dinner. And, the first thought is, oh, well, that means that, I got to pick up some slack. That's
Mm.
not actually that's not the thought we stick with. The first thought wasn't the goals. The next thought was the goals. The next thought was, okay, what do we need to adjust in our finances to be able to afford someone to do the shopping for us
Mm.
or to do the cooking for us? That's where
Right.
we are right now. It's what can we apply to this situation that does not take more time away from us, because that's also not something that I'm interested in. I'm
Right.
interested in living my life and not feeling like I'm constantly behind or angry or anxious because of how some things are. So
Right.
I am spending more time envisioning what I want for myself and then putting those things in place.
Mm. Wow. Just, man. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because that's the first thought. Like my partner is returning back to the workforce. I have a lot of things going on. There's less help at the house. Who's
Yeah,
gonna take care of the extra responsibilities? So
exactly.
yeah,
Like
wow.
we hired someone to clean the house. I was just like, okay, so what can we afford realistically? Like, what can we
Mm,
afford? How do we allocate the funds? And we had to change our cleaning person to someone that was a little bit cheaper, that we could afford, because I don't ask people to change their prices. I'm just like, if we can't afford you, it doesn't mean that you're too expensive. It means that for us, that's
you're not the
outside of the
right
scope of
person.
our budget.
That's
Exactly.
right, and that too.
It
Yeah.
it also means that we're not asking for a deep clean every month. We're doing like the basic clean with and then we were able to add like, hey, every other week come here. So one week you'll do the full clean, and on the next week you'll just clean the kitchen and the bathroom.
I see.
So we're able to sort of split costs in that way. So we're still getting what we need without without having to fully shoulder the burden of it, if that makes sense.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And you said you're in the works of a new book. Is it like an autobiography, or do you want to talk about that?
I'm writing a book on self-esteem for Black people, particularly Black women.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. That's a great topic. That's a great
Thanks.
topic. I'm
Thanks.
sure with a topic like that, you're gonna have to like go back into history, right, to really get
There's a
deep with it. You know
lot
what
of
I'm saying?
yeah, and I want to make sure I address it from a mental health standpoint,
You
standing in the
should.
fact that I'm a sex therapist as well as having this general therapy information, and standing in the fact that I'm Black, standing
Mm,
in the fact that I'm a woman. I want all of these areas that are sort of sit uncovered within this book, because so much, it feeds into our self-esteem. And I think that all of that also feeds into whether or not we feel that we are deserving of taking care of ourselves, and then how we take care of ourselves as a result.
And a lot of things are out there to break our self-esteem as people of color too, and I'm sure you're going
Yeah.
to talk about in your book. That's a great topic. Good for you. Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, so those are all the questions, Donna. Do you want to put your website in the chat and I can just pin it for the last few minutes?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my therapy website
Your
is
website, right?
com. That is
Cool.
the therapy website. Like, if you're in the DMV, come through. We are always looking for new therapists. Not
Mm.
like always, always, but always enough.
Right.
And we do have a class coming up called Prepare to Orgasm, so PTO.
Oh, it's a
Because we
virtual
all need a little
class?
PTO. Yes, it is. And it's going
Okay.
down May 6th at 7:30
Amazing.
p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. It's on your website if you want to like sign up for it.
Yes, it should be in
RSVP
the
events
little
or something.
announcement banner and in the event
Okay.
section. So you'll be able to find it twice.
Wow. I might have to look into that. That's
Come
amazing.
through, friend. Come
Yeah.
through.
Like you said, May 6th. Okay. I'm gonna check
May
that
6th,
out.
7:30. Yep.
Her website's
I
there, you
told you that I
guys.
also like create workbooks when I'm as a form of my own self-care. So the newest one is 30-day masturbation guide. And you can get the ticket to the class and the masturbation guide together, which gives you a nice, a pretty healthy discount, if I do say so myself.
Is that for beginners? Because I'm not a pro or nothing.
I think that it's
The
for
guide.
anyone who is looking to reconnect with their pleasure practices through their own
Mm,
bodies first. So
mm,
it asks, there are some because it's basically a challenge book to get you to masturbate every day for 30 days.
right.
But before you even get in there, it's all the prep work, all the stuff that we might need to unload about what we learned around sex and self-pleasure practices. It also gives you a list of benefits for masturbation pretty
Wow.
early in the book. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that class, I definitely have to check out that May 6th class.
Please do
Um,
come through. It's the first link. It should be one of the first link in my bio.
okay,
It
cool.
should say PTO class. Do 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 do.
See if I see any questions in the chat. Yeah, I don't see any questions, but your website's right there for, everybody to check you out. I definitely know I will. So Donna, oh my God, I know that you're a very busy woman, so I do want to say thank you for being a part of this series
Thank
with
you
my
for
brand.
inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yes. I think you're the 15th episode. Yeah, you're the 15th guest. So, and my brand is still growing, so this is something that I have to promote the message, self-care isn't selfish, because that's what we are as a brand, that promoting that.
I
So
love that.
so thank you,
So
Donna. I hope you
you
have a
holler at
great
me when you do
Sunday.
a live event. When you going
Oh,
to a live event, holler at your girl.
eventually, yeah, we're gonna get into that. Thank you, Donna. Thank you so much. All your answers, spot on.
Thank you.
Um, yes,
And
have
thank you
a,
for having me. I really appreciate it.
of course, and yeah, I'll be in contact with you tomorrow too. To send you everything with this live. So thank you, and
Okay.
enjoy your brunch. No, it's too late for brunch. Enjoy your dinner, right?
It's never too late for brunch.
You're
Thank
such a
you.
joy. Yes. I love your energy, everything.
Thank you.
Okay, bye guys. Thank you, Donna.
Bye.